We start tonight with Byron Donalds, Republican from Florida, who is under consideration to be Donald Trump's running mate, although I promise not to ask you about that. It'll be your first interview where the question doesn't come up. Congressman, it's nice to see you. Thank you. All right, so I'm not going to argue the polling with you, but I agree with you that the majority of Americans do agree that things were better under Donald Trump, at least economically. But you said that the word games don't matter. When President Trump said that he was going to look at possibly banning contraception, that means that every Republican Senate candidate and every Republican House candidate is going to have to answer for those things. Words do matter, especially when you want to be the leader of the free world. And I'm wondering why, when it would be so easy, why no Republican would stand up and say, Mr. President, if you just talk about the things that you, Byron Donalds, just spoke about, rather than other stuff, it'd be a lot easier for all of us.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think with what the comment you just said, I don't even recall him ever saying that. It might have said in a line of thinking about a myriad of subjects. If you've talked to Donald Trump, he talked about it even today. When it comes to abortion, when it comes to contraception, those are things that, frankly, are going to be left in the hands of states. You even have the Supreme Court that just came out today essentially saying that the abortion pill, mifepristone, they unanimously rejected the challenge to that. So when you bring up these issues around something which is very personal, like contraception, the president has not weighed in definitively saying, oh, that we're going to move for some sort of ban. That is not the case. He has never said something like that.
To be fair, Congressman, he said in an interview, he said in an interview that he was going to look at it, and then about an hour later he came out and said, never mind. Now, you can say he misspoke, which I think he would agree that he did, but the fact of the matter is that's what happens. It's a problem for Republicans. The polling leads and shows that. Biden head-to-head, Trump 46, Biden 45. Okay? Donald Trump right now is up 1 point in the decision desk average of polls. He's up in all the swing states. But he's up on the issues a lot more. Who's going to handle the economy better? Trump by 10 points. Immigration, Trump by 14 points. I was not a math major. That's why I went into journalism. Joe Biden is ahead on abortion. No surprise there. Mental and physical fitness needed to be president. Donald Trump is up by 20 points. So on all the issues, other than abortion, Donald Trump is up double digits, sometimes 20 points. It's unheard of. Yet he and Joe Biden are neck and neck. How do you explain that delta if it is not the American people, for lack of a better way to shorthand this, not liking mean tweets?
Well, a couple things. First, Leland, you just said in your commentary that he came out and said he would look at it, and it came out an hour later and said, no, we're not going to do it. America is tired of politicians who are automatons, who say everything perfectly scripted that the consultants bring them, because the history has demonstrated that these robotic politicians are not looking out for the interests of the American people. They're listening to consultants, they're listening to pollsters, and frankly, they're listening to people who do not have the interests of the American people first. That's number one. Number two, to the broader section, when you look at overall polling in terms of Republican, Democrat, yes, we're a divided nation when it comes to Republicans and Democrats. We definitely know that. I think a lot of that has to play with the demonization by the Democrats and frankly by the media onto Donald Trump the last 8 years. But I believe in this election, people are going to look at the results for their pocketbook at home, the results of policy in America. With respect to mean tweets, I would implore the American people, what matters more to you? How you feel about something that might have been said 7 years ago, or the reality of how disastrous Joe Biden's presidency is today?
All right, so we can agree, I think, and it's a point you've made, that the media at all, not all, is on the side of Joe Biden and would love nothing more than for Joe Biden to win, and is working towards that fact. You've also made the point, and I think you're correct, that if this is a referendum on Joe Biden and on the issue you just laid out, were you better off under Trump or were you better off under Biden? Obviously, Donald Trump is going to win. Even the White House privately, or at least Biden supporters privately, will say that. So with those two things in mind, wouldn't it make sense to not give the media, who is in the bag for Joe Biden, all of these opportunities to, as you would say, misconstrue, screw, and spin words?
Well, look, I will tell you firsthand, the media wastes no time trying to find any reason to twist anything. We cannot operate a campaign like that. You can't run for any office being concerned about what the media is going to say, because quite frankly, their track record is atrocious. I mean, it's abysmal if we're going to be... Leland, you're doing a great job, but the rest of the media is god-awful. You got to talk directly to people. You got to talk exactly about what the issues are, and hopefully that resonates. And I mean, and look at what Donald Trump is doing. UFC fights, going into regular stores, talking with the American people directly. He was just on TikTok with Logan Paul, the United States champion himself. He's taking his messages to everybody, not just doing segments on cable news. And that's very, very important.
Congressman Donalds, thank you as always. We appreciate it. Look forward to having you back, hopefully on set sometime.
Of course. Thank you.